Okay. All right. Okay, we don't wait. Hmm. Okay. So, today's class, right? Okay, we are going to focus on the main points only, which I'm not going to explain those points in detail already. I'm just going to tell you which part you're going to focus, and as well as which part that you're not really going to go through with it, which is the parts that you don't need to memorize. So I'll just tell you which part you need to memorize, which part you need to comprehend, or which part you need to read through. Okay. So we have some points that we don't need to focus so much on it. So I'm helping you to reduce your burden on the preparation, so called. Okay. So we have 1.5 hours here. Okay, so I'll just going to spend around 45 minutes on telling you the points, okay, and roughly 45 minutes on doing the exercises, okay, to tell you what is the main point. All right. So, okay, chapter one, biodiversity. Okay, so biodiversity, okay, first thing first, the importance you have to know, okay, what is the benefit that what is so the importance of biodiversity, so called. Okay, so it gives resources of food, okay, balance in nature, recreational places, medical, okay, raw material, education. So all these points, right? You have to know the points, but you have to roughly take 3 to 4 points here. Okay, as well as you have to comprehend the content, lah. Okay, why would it say biodiversity gives us sources of food? Because we have plants and animals. Different plants and animals will give us different food lah, okay, sources of food. So know the content inside, okay, so we don't go through here, just want you to know. So second thing would be the effect, okay, what is the effect, okay, of human activities on biodiversity? This is the point that you have to know as well. Deforestation, okay, we chop down the trees. Development, okay, you develop industry, okay, you build factories, okay, housing areas. So these activities, okay, come from human, is going to ruin the biodiversity. So endemic species is one of the things that you have to know as well. Endemic species means the species that can be found on a specific habitat lah. For example, okay, we said what is it? The Rafflesia. Okay, Rafflesia is endemic species in Malaysia. Okay, only can be found in Malaysia. So the next thing that you have to know is, okay, how are we going to maintain, okay, the biodiversity? What you have to do to maintain or conserve the biodiversity, okay? All right, so first thing first, we have to ban the killing lah. Okay, this one is quite sensitive, which we cannot. When the question asks you, okay, as a resident in Malaysia, what you can do to conserve the biodiversity? Okay, the key word here is resident. Resident. Okay, as a resident in Malaysia, so you are the resident. You cannot ban or kill. You have to know the role here. Okay, who can do this thing? Who cannot do this thing? Okay, so now is like we are the people. Okay, what we can do is we can do reproductive program. Okay, we can do some national parks. Okay, this one we can do by our own. Okay, but those banning stuff, okay, those rules and regulation, law enforcement stuff, it comes from the government. Okay, so the method here, we have two methods here to conserve the biodiversity. One is in situ, the other one will be ex situ. Okay, in situ conservation means we have to maintain those animals, or I mean organisms lah, okay, back to where they live. Okay, we maintain back in their habitat, but we restructure the habitat. Okay, so they live there, but we do something on that habitat. For example, permanent forest reserve, okay, marine parks. We maintain them staying at the same place. But for ex situ, okay, we move those animals or plants or so-called organisms into another place to protect them. That is why we so-called ex situ. For example, zoo. Okay, zoo is a kind of ex situ lah. Okay, so what about classification of plant? Okay, plant, quick, animals. Okay, so classification of animals here, we have two classification, which is invertebrates and also vertebrates. Okay, very easy to classify them. Okay, when a question asks you, what is invertebrate? Just tell that question, animals without backbone. Okay, vertebrates means the animals comes with backbone. Okay, so very easy to classify. As you can see, in the invertebrates, right, we have like detailed classification such as, okay, it comes with leg or without legs. Okay, so for example, three pairs of legs, which is considered as insects. Okay, so those things are classified in the invertebrates with legs, okay, with three pairs of legs. But with more than three pairs of legs, they are not considered as insects. Okay, so without leg, okay, you can classify them into further detail, which is without segmented body and with segmented body. So you can see, okay, there's no segment, okay, but you can see this part, right? They have segment, okay, they have segment. So this is what is so-called segmented body lah. Okay, so know the classification between them. And okay, the next point here would be vertebrate. Okay, the vertebrate, right? You can just ignore those points because this is quite common points. You don't need to memorize every point here. Okay, I just gave you the highlight. You have to know what is poikilothermic. Poikilothermic means cold-blooded lah, which means their blood temperature will change according to the surrounding. They go to a cold place, okay, their blood change to cold. They go to a warm place, their blood change to warm. Okay, so you have to know what is poikilothermic and what is homeothermic. Okay, so reptiles, amphibians, and fish, they all are considered as poikilothermic. Okay, and their adaptation quite common lah. You have to know they lay eggs in water. Okay, so you see, very common stuff. So you see, I didn't highlight those points for you, but you have to know, okay, because it is so common. So, but for birds, for mammals, okay, like any mammals lah, okay, they are considered as homeothermic. Homeothermic means their body temperature is so constant, okay, and the body temperature will be adjusted according to the surrounding temperature. So to make sure that their body temperature is constant. Okay, so for human lah, 37 degrees Celsius, this is what it should be in our body temperature. All right. Then the rest is not so important. Okay, then you have to know about plants. So in the plants, you have monocotyledon and dicotyledon. This is for flowering plants, which those plants, they have flowers. Okay, so you have monocotyledon, you have dicotyledon. So monocotyledon, I would encourage you, okay, to know only 3 points from 3 perspectives. Okay, first one will be root. Okay, for monocotyledon, you have fibrous root. Okay, for monocotyledon, you have non-woody stem, parallel vein. Okay, and you have to know those examples as well. For example, maize, the paddy, okay, the corn, okay, all those kind of plants are considered monocotyledon. But for dicotyledon, okay, they are mostly woody stem, okay, wood base, and they have root and they have network vein, okay, network vein. So you better know from these 3 perspectives, okay, and don't just memorize. You have to know how does the woody stem looks like, how does the non-woody stem looks like. Okay, just go through with them. Those tomato, okay, durian tree, rambutan, hibiscus, okay, they are all considered as dicotyledon. Okay, so dicotyledon. So know their difference. But for non-flowering plants, no need to go through everything, just to know their name. Okay, because somehow the question asks you, hey, please give some examples of non-flowering plants. Then you have to provide those examples lah. Moss, fern, conifer, okay, they are considered as non-flowering plants. Okay, so mostly producing by spores, as you can see, producing by spores or producing by using cones. Okay, so those differences you have to know between them, but no need to memorize, just to know their name. Okay, just in case the question asks you to give the question their name. Okay, so for the next part here would be dichotomous key. Okay, the dichotomous key is very easy to answer, which we have another kind of classification here. We classify them based on the similarities and differences. Okay, similarity and differences. So one got fur or not, okay, one got scale or not, okay, so they have backbone or not. Okay, so we classify them based on the similarities and differences. This is what we so-called dichotomous key. Okay, so the examples has been given here, so not important lah, just to know what is teacher Thomas key. Somehow your section A will ask you. All right, so this one is very common as well. So the tough one will be chapter 3. So we slightly go through this one first. Ecosystem, you have to know about the food chain lah. Who is the producer? Producer means the first organism that makes plants by their own through photosynthesis. Okay, which means those energy, okay, those food they made comes from sun. Okay, they require sunlight to do photosynthesis here. Okay, this is what you have to know. So second thing you have to know is primary consumer. A primary consumer will consume the producer. Secondary consumer will consume the primary consumer. Tertiary consumer will consume the secondary consumer or primary consumer. Okay, and we have lastly decomposer. Decomposer is mainly constructed by the bacteria and fungi, which they decompose, okay, or break down the dead body or the corpse that comes from the dead animal lah. Okay, know their name. And I believe food chain and food web is quite simple lah. Okay, food chain, a lot of food chain, you combine them to become food web. Okay, so this one is not tough. Okay, just common sense you can go through already. But okay, for this thing you have to know energy flow. Okay, to tell you that energy itself is mostly, not mostly, all food web. Okay, the first source of energy is actually comes from the sun, because the sun will give light energy so that the cabbage can produce more energy. Okay, so cabbage would allocate energy to them, and the energy in the end will reach snake. But however, you have to know that the energy itself during transformation will have energy loss. Okay, when you transfer the energy, right, there must be some energy loss back to the nature. Okay, so just grab a concept here, and in the end, you have to know that energy, okay, you can lose energy in a lot of different form: heat energy, chemical energy, or even pieces. Okay, all these kind of method, okay, can be the way of losing energy. All right. Hold on. Let me see whether I'm recording something or not. Uh, okay. Okay. All right. So the next part here would be this one. Okay, nutrient cycle. Okay, for the nutrient cycle, okay, you have to know how does the nutrition flow. Okay, what is the nutrition flow here? Okay, it can be learned from the food chain, so we don't emphasize it here. What you have to know is the carbon cycle and oxygen cycle. Carbon cycle relate to the carbon dioxide. Who releases carbon dioxide? Who absorbs carbon dioxide? Okay, and who releases oxygen? Who absorbs oxygen? So the only thing that can absorb carbon dioxide, okay, is plant. Okay, only plant can absorb carbon dioxide, and also at the same time, only plant itself can produce oxygen. Okay, so who is going to release carbon dioxide? Okay, plant itself, they will release carbon dioxide as well. Okay, plant, animal, combustion process, organisms, all of them, they are going to release carbon dioxide. But at the same time, all of them, they require oxygen too. Okay, so know their relationship here lah, because it is quite common, so you can just read through it. So what about water cycle? Okay, water cycle is like relatively easier as well. So when the plant itself, okay, losing water, or the lake itself losing water through evaporation process, okay, the water that has been evaporated will be condensed into cloud, okay, and the cloud will come out with rain, and the rain will become river back to the land. Okay, so this is how the water cycle happens lah. Then what is the thing that you have to know is, okay, root itself can help you to prevent soil erosion, because the root of plant will hold the ground. Okay, so to prevent the soil erosion, so called. And another thing is, okay, we have leaf fall. Okay, those leaves that fallen, right? Okay, fallen from trees, they will cover the surface of the land or the soil. So the purpose of doing this is to make sure the soil is not becoming dry. Okay, so know this thing. So the next part here is, okay, the inference. This one is most likely to be asked in your exam, okay? Especially those KBAT questions. Okay, so how are you going to deal with those questions? You just know the points and you read through the content, you fully comprehend what is the backfire or the disadvantage of burning of fossil fuel. You write it in your own sentence. Okay, you burn fossil fuel, you release carbon dioxide, you harm the environment. So this is the inference. So burning of fossil fuel, deforestation, overusage of water, okay, they are going to harm the cycle because you are going to cause oxygen decrease in the cycle. And deforestation, okay, you chop down the tree. There are no trees to absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen already. So CO2 increase, oxygen decrease. This is what caused to the cycle. Over usage of water, okay, water become less, so the plant cannot grow, affecting the cycle as well. So how are you going to solve this thing? Okay, same thing, common sense. You have to know how, of course, public transport. So why I didn't highlight Titan law this thing? As I said, Titan law is very sensitive. Not everyone can tighten the law. Only government or those who have power, they can tighten the law. Okay, so replant tree, okay, create the plant agriculture system. This agriculture system relate to your fertilizer. Somehow, the fertilizer itself contains chemical substances. Those chemical substances, they'll dissolve into the soil and cause soil erosion, in the end affect your cycle. Okay, so in this case, you have to make a plant agriculture system to make sure the soil fertility. Okay, as well as this one, I didn't mention as well because this one is not so logic, because nowadays the rainwater itself is slightly acidic already, so no longer suitable for daily usage lah. So I didn't highlight this one. Okay, next thing here. Okay, we have interaction between organism and environment. Keyword is environment, not organism and organism. It's organism and environment. So you have to know what is the difference between habitat and species, and population, community, or even the ecosystem. Okay, so first thing first, habitat itself means the place for the organism to live. This is what is so-called habitat. Meanwhile, for species, species means a certain uh, group of organisms that come with same characteristics. Means same species, like those, I mean, similar characteristics organism lah. Okay, they are considered as species. Okay, so their function here is to breed their offspring. Okay, to do reproduction. So for population, right? Population means all of them, they stay in the same habitat. Okay, same species, same habitat. This is what is so-called population. Community means different population that stays in one habitat. It means different species, but they all stay in one habitat. That is what is so-called community. Ecosystem, even wide. Okay, you are going to include interaction between non-living components. For example, water, air, and soil. Okay, so the type of soil will affect the ecosystem, the air content will affect the ecosystem, the water content itself as well. So this is how it's so-called ecosystem. So we have to make sure that the ecosystem is balanced so that we can breed different kind of organisms, okay, variation so forth, out in our earth. Okay, so you have to know the adaptation here, but not to memorize, because this thing I believe you have already know. You just read through, you comprehend, that's all. Because as you can see, the adaptation of animal in desert, okay, in desert. So camel, they have fats on their hump, okay. So cactus, they have needles as their leaves to reduce the water loss. Okay, this is one of the adaptation. Okay, adaptation means actually how are you going to change yourself to make sure you survive in that environment. This is what is so-called adaptation. Okay, you change yourself to survive or to fit into that environment or the ecosystem. Okay, adaptation. So tropicals area. Okay, we have certain characteristics which is very hot, very humid. Okay, so and very light lah. Okay, light intensity is very high. So in this case, right? Okay, mammals, we have short hair. Okay, short hair to make sure we don't feel hot. Okay, those reptiles will become inactive during summer. Okay, because a lot of different reasons lah. So you have to do the adaptation here. So plus tundra itself. Okay, tundra means very cold places lah. Arctic, not North Arctic or South Arctic. Okay, so those cold areas. Okay, They are so cold until those animals, they have to have very thick fur to make sure they trap heat to reduce heat loss from their body so that they can survive in that area. So mosses and grass are very, very tiny, okay, to make sure they can survive in that environment lah. Okay. So those interactions you just go through, okay, the main part is here, interaction between organisms. As I said, you have to know all the relationship here, prey, predator, competition, etc. So we have 5 different interaction between organisms here. Okay, what you need to do is you have to know the explanation as well as the example. Okay, know the organisms that happens here and know the interaction between here. So you have to classify and identify which one is considered as prey predator, etc. Okay, so for example, prey predator, okay, tiger and deer, competition, okay, for the same organism or same species, they compete for certain resource. That is what is so-called competition. For commensalism, it is what is so-called we live together, but two different species they live together, but only one party is getting the benefit without harming the other one. Okay, so two people, only one got benefit, but it is not going to harm the other one. That is what is called commensalism. Okay, for mutualism, mutualism means we both stay together. Okay, we both stay together. Okay, but however, we are benefiting each people. Okay, we stay together and we benefit each other. This is what is called mutualism. Okay, and for the parasitism, parasitism means I stay in your body, but at the same time, I'm going to harm you. Okay, I'm getting benefit from you, but I'm going to harm you as well. So this is what is so-called parasitism. All right. So the next part here, biological control. Okay. So biological control means you're going to use the organism to control certain population. Okay, certain species population. So you have to know the advantage and the disadvantage here. Okay, the advantage and the disadvantage here. So I don't go through in detail for you. I just take 2 examples to you. Okay, the advantage here is low cost. Okay, very cheap. At the same time, it is not going to harm the environment because pesticides, you are going to use, if you use pesticides, right, it's very expensive and at the same time, it is going to pollute the environment. So for the cons, right, disadvantage, okay, it takes time. Okay, of course, it takes time. At the same time, okay, it is very difficult for you to predict. Okay, because for example, now if you use snake to control the population of rat, okay, you never know. Okay, the snake will not just eat rat. Okay, it eats the chicken, eats the dog as well. Okay, so unpredictable outcome. So if you want to make predictable, you change it to owl lah. So this is the concept because if you didn't plan it wisely, right, you're going to cause a lot of issue coming out. Okay, so know the cons here. So what is a factor that affecting the size of population, certain organisms population? First thing first, disease. Okay, the disease will reduce their population because the animals that cannot survive, okay, will reduce their population. Food source. If you are so rich of the food in that particular area, of course the population increase. Okay, poor food source, their population decrease. Prey predator relationship, for example, now you have a lot of lion, of course your zebra decrease. A lot of snake, of course your rat decrease. Okay, but you have to know, if you have a lot of rat, the snake will increase as well. Okay, because they have more food already. Okay, change of weather. So change of weather means different weather will cause certain animal or certain plants cannot survive, so affecting their population. Somehow, okay, changes in ecosystem, okay, limited water supply. If your ecosystem is being ruined or it is facing changes, so the water supply will be limited. Okay, migration. So migration means if you cannot cope into that environment already, then you fly to another places lor. So this is what is so-called migration. For example, this is what is so-called seagull. Okay, they do migration. Okay, change in population size. Okay, more population of the what we so-called pest. For example, more and more rat, okay, will cause your plant to become lesser because your crops, okay, will be eaten by those rats. So this is how it affects your ecosystem. Okay, so this is how I said it relate back to what we have discussed at the previous chapter. Okay, as the human activity effect on the environment. So forest logging is what you're going to cause from this activity. Not just forest logging, it is actually same thing as the deforestation lah. Industrialization, you build the factory. Agriculture, you overuse pesticides. As I said, pesticides and fertilizer. This one comes from the agriculture. This one also goes with the agriculture lah. So they are going to pollute the soil, and cause air pollution or even soil pollution, soil erosion lah. Waste disposal, you don't throw the rubbish properly lah. You pollute the water, pollute the ground. So not important point. Same thing. How you're going to solve. So you see, out of the chapter 1 and chapter 2, right, they're going to repeat and repeat. What is the effect that we cause? And what is the solution you can propose? So you have to see the pattern. Somehow, in chapter 1, they repeat for once already. Chapter 2, they repeat for twice already. So you can see the importance here, which, the step to preserve and conserve is being shown. So to show they already show you the importance here. What is the thing that you have to do to solve, and what is the effect or negative effect caused by human activities? So actually, you can summarize it into several points only, but I leave it to your own lah. Because this one is not too tough. So law enforcement, as I said, we don't randomly write this answer. You have to base on the question. If the question say in your perspective, then you cannot write law enforcement already, because you are not the one who can establish law. Increase public awareness. This one you ask more people to help you. You increase their awareness. You make them to be more attentive to the issue. So 5R, not just 5R. Actually, you practice 3R also can solve the issue. So the answer will not be just 5R. If you forgot 5R, you write 3R. It's actually acceptable. Biological control. We don't use pesticides. We don't use fertilizer. We prefer biological control. So this is how it works here. And so the next part here would be the digestion process. So here we have too much of information here already. I will not go through everything here. Same thing happens. I'll just tell you which one is important. First thing first, you have to know the classes of food. We have several classes here, not just vitamin, minerals, carbohydrate, fats, protein, etc. You have to know what is their form in the bigger structure. For example, bigger structure is carbohydrate. The smallest, the final digestion outcome will be glucose. So you have to know which is the first one and what is the last being digested. And what is the result that you get from this digestion process. Know their name, know their function. Carbohydrate, supply energy. Protein, repair your tissue. Fat, regulating your body temperature. So store your energy, protect your organ. And one more thing that we mentioned before is vitamin A, which means it can help to carry 4 major vitamin, which is vitamin A, D, E, K. As what I said, vitamin A. So for fiber, it allows constipation. Constipation means your certain organs, like crawling in this way, moving in this way. So to push the food or push the feces, to desired places. This is how it's called constipation. So, not constipation, sorry, peristalsis. Sorry, wrong noun. Peristalsis. Peristalsis means your specific organ moving in this way. Pushing the food in front. In the end, become feces. Or to the desired location lah. Why? Because to prevent constipation. Constipation means you are unable to do defecation. Means you're unable to do pooping. So in your exam, right, just in case you want to express the meaning of pooping. You cannot say pooping, you have to say defecation lah. So vitamin. Vitamin I don't highlight doesn't mean not important. I just, because if I highlight too much, it will be very ugly. But I'm here to tell you vitamin is very important. What you have to know is their importance and their deficiency effect and their source. No need to memorize everything, just one each is fair enough. So for example, vitamin A comes from milk. The function here is to help you have night vision. So if you lack of it, to cause night blindness. Just know one point here is fair enough to save you already. Okay, so for minerals, same thing happens here, the source, the importance, the deficiency effect. Okay, so go through everything, it's important. And then we have food test. Okay, this is the only chapter that you have to memorize in your first exam lah. Okay, so food test, we have to know four major food test method, which is iodine test, Benedict test, Milon's reagent, and emulsion test as well. Okay, food emulsion test. So iodine test, you have to know their observation. If it is used to test starch, right? If in fact got starch, okay, then the iodine will turn to blue-black color. Benedict test is used to test glucose. If got glucose, it turns to brick red precipitate. Milon's reagent is used to test protein. If indeed you have protein there, red coagulation is produced. Alcohol, okay, if you really got fats, okay, inside, okay, after you filter it, actually a transfusion spot is formed. So the test one and test two, right, just randomly pick one to comprehend, and fair enough already. Okay, so the next part here would be the importance of balanced diet. Okay, this food pyramid is the thing that you have to know in basic. Okay, very easy one. Carbs is the lowest one, fiber, vitamin at the top of carbs, protein on top of the fiber and vitamin. The highest part will be the fat, okay, which you have to consume least in your meal. So fats and sugar, okay, these two things is the top part of the food pyramid here. So these factors, okay, that influence the calorie requirement in your body, no need to memorize everything as well. Know the point, know how to explain, good, you are good to go. Bigger body size, you need to eat more. So you require more calorie. Okay, so the older you become, the less calorie you needed. Okay, the more the workload, okay, for certain people, they need more calorie. Okay, for those people they have least activity, okay, they need less what is it called, calorie. All right. And so gender, okay, gender, male you have more muscle than female. Okay, so this is why you need more calorie. State of health, okay, people who are weak, they need to eat healthy. Okay, they need to eat healthy. You cannot ask the sick people to eat fried chicken, right? Okay, climate, okay, people in cold area, they live in cold area, they eat a lot because they need to generate more calorie to be converted into heat energy to maintain their body temperature. So this is what you have to know lah. Then calorific value of food, it is actually very easy. Just use everything that have been given in the table and you times the mass, okay, of being consumed, bottom. Okay, so what you have to be careful is you have to make sure energy per how many gram. If the question sometimes is very tricky, it becomes energy per 100 gram. You don't randomly take the 100 to times the value here. Okay, you better convert it to 1 gram first. Okay, much more safe lah. Okay, safe play. Okay, otherwise, I mean, maybe if your mathematics is so good, you have your own way to calculate. Yes, for sure. Okay, but just to say that if you want to play safe, you have to convert the 100 gram into 1 gram here lah. Okay, so this is only trick that the question will give you. Plus, what you have to know is write down the SI unit. That's all. Okay, so for example, you convert it already. You have to take the value. Okay, rice times rice. You got the figure. So you do everything at the same time and you compile, not compile lah. You add all of them together. You get the final answer. This is how the calories that the people consume. Okay, so 3.3 is the toughest part. Okay, it is the toughest one. So as I said, what you need to do is all of the structure or organ here is a must for you to know. Know their name, know their function, know what happened here. Okay, so of course you can go through the points here. Okay, but as I said, the notes that I have passed to you when we went through this topic is here. Everything has been summarized, okay, from which part to which part, okay, from carbs to cellulose, glucose, glycogen, then become maltose, become glucose, okay. So everything has been given here already. So what you need to do is you comprehend, hey, what happens in your pancreatic juice? Where is your pancreatic juice happens? In your pancreas. So you have this protease, lipase, pancreatic amylase. So you can see everything is here. Okay, so proteins, your stomach will do something on the polypeptides, which is breaking down the protein into polypeptides. Okay, fats will be digested into droplet at first in your bile, which is the liver. Okay, so in last, your carbohydrate, right, being digested into maltose already. In the end, in your small intestine, you're going to break down it again to become glucose so that you can absorb the nutrition. Okay, plus one more thing is what? Hydrochloric acid is used to activate your protease here, which comes in your stomach. Okay, so it can kill bacteria as well. So know the function, everything here. So this one, as I said, you have to know each kind of food test, you need what ingredient to do the food test. Okay, so glucose is used to test what? Starch, protein, fats used to test what? You have to know lah. And what is the result here? Okay, do a screenshot whether upon necessity lah. Okay, then back to the notes. Okay, so I don't really go through here right because all of them has been compiled in the notes that I've shown just now. So what I have to emphasize here is the experiment. Somehow your question is very likely to ask you experiment, which does saliva dissolve the starch? Okay, does saliva break down the starch? Okay, the answer is yes lah. So you can see in the end, okay, your saliva can break down the starch. Okay, so you can see starch is absent. Okay, so glucose is absent as well because what? Okay, it becomes maltose already. Okay, it becomes maltose already. So there's no starch, there's no glucose. Okay, but in here, okay, you have starch, iodine test, you have no glucose. Means what? If you add starch, if you add saliva inside, starch will be break down into maltose, not glucose. Okay, maltose and glucose is actually quite similar. So you see, they write present here. Okay, but if you didn't add saliva inside, right, starch will still remain. Okay, starch will still remain, so glucose is absent. And what you need to know is, okay, those experiment, right, as you can see, it has to be 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, so previously in our exercise, we went through that. Why it has to be in this temperature? It is because this temperature is actually very similar into human body. So this temperature can activate the saliva to work efficiently lah. The reason behind is here. Okay, the best temperature to activate the saliva to working. Okay, so the next part here would be this experiment. Okay, the assimilation process. Okay, which means why we would say that the starch itself will penetrate the whisking tube and reach the water. Okay, you have to explain why and why this one cannot. Why starch cannot and why glucose can penetrate the whisking tube and dissolve in water. Okay, you have to explain why. Because okay, starch itself, it has very big particle. So glucose, you have just very small particle. So smaller particle can pass through the whisking tube. Meanwhile, your starch itself will be trapped inside the whisking tube because of the size of particle too big already. Okay, so the result here you went through by your own. Okay, the result here you went through by your own. It's not, not going to repeat lah. Okay, I scare you feel boring. So 3.4, this thing, process of absorption and allocation of food lah. Okay, so you have to know that what is the adaptation here? What is the adaptation here to make sure that you can absorb more and more nutrition? First thing first, large surface area. Okay, large surface area can make sure you can take and absorb more and more food. So the second point, the wall of villus is very thin. How thin it could be? One cell, just one cell thickness. Okay, so in your villus, right, you have a lot of blood vessel inside, a lot of blood vessel covered to make sure that the nutrition that penetrate, also called diffuse, inside can be carried to whole body. Okay, so you have to know lah, what is the function of having glucose, amino acid, fatty acid, and glycerol? Produce energy, okay, form cell, form tissue, okay, to carry vitamin, protect organ, okay, all these kind of things. All right, so throughout the defecation process, right, what you need to know is our large intestine will not absorb digested food. Our large intestine does not involve in digestion process as well. Okay, just it is absorbing water. I mean digesting food lah. Okay, it is not digesting food. It is digesting water, absorbing water into the body to make sure your body is always have enough water lah. All right. So okay, the revision has been finished. Okay, so actually not finished lah. I mean the point itself has been finished. Okay, so if you have any question, right? Okay, you speak out. Then I go back and explain a little bit. Okay. Oh, one more thing you have to know is what? Okay, this is the image that you have to understand. This is the blood vessel that I said covered in the villi. And this is what I said, the diffusion process. Okay, diffusion means what? The smaller particle can penetrate into the villus. Meanwhile, the larger particle, they stay outside the villus because their size is being too big already, cannot penetrate through the wall. But you have to know as well how thick the wall would be. It is just one cell thick. All right. So this is what you have to know lah. Everything has been mentioned just now, which is the important one. Okay. So before we go to exercise, 5:30, right? Okay. So we are going to have a 5-minute break. Okay, 5-minute break for you to like prepare yourself, digest, okay, absorb. So after 5 minutes, we go back and we just start the revision exercise. All right. So Okay, so go back to the exercise. So we're going to look at the questions on how to solve the question and look at the questions pattern lah. So look which kind of pattern of the question I will be asking lah. Okay. So first thing first. Okay, the first part here is slightly easy. So we're just going to go one question here, which as you can see, the question will show you, hey, they are classified as vertebrate. Okay, vertebrate, question 5, yeah? Vertebrate means what? Okay, they have backbones inside their body. So basically the question is so simple and they ask you what is the common characteristics between them. So everything that you can observe in these two pictures can be the common characteristics. Poikilothermic, lay eggs, okay, can live underwater or either they can live on land, okay? Or to say they have two eyes also can, okay? So any points that you want to write, as long as it is logic, can be written. So state the differences between them. So very easy. So they lay eggs with shell, okay? And this one, it lay eggs without shell. And this one lay egg in sand, this one lay eggs in water. So the difference is here lah. Okay. So why? The question is asking you lah, a KBAT question. Okay, so KBAT question. They ask you why frogs they have to lay their eggs in water. Okay, so you explain. Okay, because their eggs got no shell. Okay, their eggs got no shell. So it is full of water. If you just simply lay it on land, right, it will be dry. Okay, it will be dry and eventually it dies. Okay, so what about C? Okay, so this one is about adaptation characteristics. Okay, so adaptive characteristics means penyesuaian. So what is the changes that it has made to make sure, okay, the eggs survive? Okay, so their eggs normally have tough shell. Okay, and that shell will prevent the egg from drying. Okay, or prevent the egg from spoil also can. Okay, so as I say quite easy Okay, just need some thinking, need some imagination. Of course, you have to understand what is this and what is this. If you don't know this one is turtle, you never seen this thing before, you never understand about this animal before, then it is quite tough for you Okay, so another type of question will be something like this, which asking you to do the classification part lah. So invertebrate is the one without backbone. So when the question asks you, what is invertebrate? Very simple. Just tell the question. It is the animal without backbone, or it is the organism, okay, without backbone. Okay, also can. So you can see invertebrate we have has been classified into one with legs or without legs. So P, okay, Q, R, S. So hints has been given. Prawn. Prawn itself, obviously, prawn not just have 3 pairs of legs. Prawn, they have more than, okay, 3 pairs of legs. So this is what we so-called not insects, okay, non-insects with legs. So state an example of P and Q. So you see, this one is not insects, so you just throw anything that is not insects but with leg. Okay, for example, a spider Spider have more than 3 pairs of legs Okay, so for one with 3 pairs of legs, it is considered as cockroach. Okay, cockroach is a kind of insect So earthworm, planaria. Okay, earthworm is classified as here segmented. Okay, planaria is classified as here non-segmented. Okay, so the difference is here. Somehow the question asks you, hey, how would you classify this thing into which group? Okay, which group? So PQRS So you can see 1, 2, 3. So 3 pairs of legs. Okay, group P. That's all. Okay, another way to classify invertebrates into two big groups. Okay, this one you have to like KBAT question as well. KBAT means need you to think by your own one. Okay, so not just with legs and without legs, you can classify them whether they are living on land or in sea. Okay, okay, land or aquatic Okay, land or in sea. So crocodile and goat. Okay, this one as same thing Okay, similarities. What you can see between them is same. It can be the similarity. They have tails. They have 4 legs. Okay, they have teeth. Okay, they are using lung to breathe. Okay, they both live on land. Okay, they both are vertebrate. They both are backbone. So we have more than 20 answers can be considered here, as long as the answer is logic lah. Okay, so that's it. This chapter has nothing like challenging. Okay, so we go to the next chapter because we are actually have to focus more on my cam is blocking. Is it? Oh, sorry. Okay, actually we have to focus more on the what we so called on the chapter 3 lah. Okay, my cam is blocking, so I scroll back like if you need. Okay, so they both breathe through lung, they both have backbone. Okay, so they both are vertebrate. Okay, they both have eyes, have tails. Three similarities. There are no way your teacher can deduct your marks from this way, from this thing lah. Okay, as long as it is a fact, then the answer is there. So chapter 2. Okay, you have something to be careful in chapter 2. The objective part and the like those, like what is it called? The true and false question. Okay. Those questions you can try by your own lah, because it's not an issue. Okay. Yeah. If I go through one by one, I believe you'll be very sleepy one. Okay. So question 3A. So organisms habitat. What you need to do before you do this question is you have to find out all the organisms that in this ecosystem. Okay. So this is what is so-called the ecosystem lah. Okay. You have eagle, you have rat, snake, you have frog, grasshopper. Okay, you have plants as well. So in exam, right, just in case your image appears too blurry or you can't even recognize what is this thing, but you know it is an animal. Okay, you have to raise up and you have to ask the teacher to maybe change another paper for you or ask the one who issue the paper. Okay, is this any error inside the image or not? Okay, so as I said lah, don't give people chance to deduct your mark. All right. And then, okay, construct a food web. Hey, not food chain, not food chain. It is food web. Okay, so food web, then you have to sketch out. Okay, we have green plants, the producer. Okay, the producer. So producer, we have what? Okay, producer will be consumed by grasshopper and consumed by the rats. Okay, rats not just eating meat. Okay, rats, they don't care. They just randomly eat everything. Okay, so the grasshopper will be consumed by the frog. Okay, so rat will be consumed by the snake. Okay, frog will be consumed by the snake as well. In the end, this is what is so-called tertiary consumer, which consumes the rat and consumes the snake as well. Okay, so you have to think in logic way lah. Okay, somehow you might argue. Okay, the rat will eat grasshopper. Okay, but they only eat grasshoppers dead body lah. Okay, like grasshopper is hopping, right? How would the rat chase over the grasshopper? Okay, impossible ma. So you have to relate back to the logically lah. Okay. So 2, explain the relationship between frog and snake, okay, in controlling the population size. So means what? Asking you what is the relationship between these two things. Okay. So you have to tell them lah, if your snake number increase, your frog number decrease. This is the only answer. Why? Because if your frog increase, your snake increase as well. Of course, you can write it this way lah. Okay, but it's not like your frog increase, then your snake decrease. No, it's not going to happen because you have more frog for snake to eat. So snake's population definitely increase one. Okay, so increase, decrease. Okay, or increase, increase. Okay, so prey-predator relationship lah, you have to mention. So if the number of predator increase or the number of snake increase, okay, the number of frog will decrease. So not very tough question. 2 ways. Okay, we have a lot of ways here to lose energy in the food web. Okay, so I write very okay, I rewrite my handwriting. Okay, we have respiration, we have excretion, we have defecation. Okay, all these processes, right? Okay, you are going to lose energy in between lah. So respiration, when you breathe, you exhale. Okay, so those hot gas that you exhale is considered as an heat energy. Excretion, the water or the sweat that you come out, right? Okay, is a form of energy that you are currently losing. Okay, defecation, your poop, okay, the feces itself is considered as a kind of chemical energy, okay, which releases out from your body. Okay, so quite easy. So this one, hey, this question has a trick. A lot of students, right? Not to say maybe you already know this trick, okay, but I still want to remind you, lah. Okay, identify gas X and gas Y. So you observe, lor. Combustion releases gas X. Gas X being consumed by the plants through photosynthesis process. So this is what we so-called carbon dioxide, lah. Okay, so for the gas Y, oxygen. Okay, because oxygen is being consumed. Okay, so being produced, being consumed. Okay, so this is what we so called oxygen. So what is the role of green plants here? Very obvious, photosynthesis. Hints is already given. It will reduce, it will consume the carbon dioxide, okay, at the same time producing oxygen back to the atmosphere. Okay, so photosynthesis is the keyword. Absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen is the second keyword, key point. Okay, 3. Explain the role of the animal in the cycle shown above. What is the role of animal here? Okay, when the question asks you about the role, right? Okay, just simply tell the question, what is the animal currently doing? Okay, the animal itself will inhale the oxygen. Okay, the animal is doing respiration. It will inhale, okay, the oxygen and release the carbon dioxide. That's all. Okay, just simply tell the question, what is the question doing? Okay, so 4, okay, in your opinion, what will be happen to the quantity of gas X and gas Y is if all the green plants are being destroyed? Okay, if you destroy all the green plants, what will happen to the gas content? So very easy. No photosynthesis. What happened to here? When you have no photosynthesis, your carbon dioxide increase, oxygen decrease. That's all. Okay, so not very tough thing here. What? Okay. Uh, 4. Okay, question 4 is quite easy. We just go to question 5. Okay, question 5. As I said, you have to know their relationship. Okay, relationship between organisms. What is the interaction? So shark and remora fish, okay, they are, what is it called? They are living together. Okay, but remora fish is not harming the shark. At the same time, it is getting benefit from shark. So this relationship is what is so called commensalism. Okay, no commensalism. A lot of people, they confuse with the commensalism and mutualism. Okay, commensalism means one party get benefit without harming another. Okay, but mutualism means both of us is getting benefit. So sea anemone and hermit crab is getting benefit from each other. Mutualism. Okay, interaction why? Okay, and give another example. So for here, I'm giving algae and fungi lah. Okay, but of course you're not just can use this example, of course. Okay, what you can give another example is what is it called? Clownfish and yeah, sea anemone. This one can be an answer as well. Clownfish, okay, is getting benefit from sea anemone for a shelter, and this thing is getting benefit from clownfish as clownfish will clean up, okay, the place for it. Okay, so the clownfish will clean the body lah, okay, for the sea anemone. So this is what another kind of mutualism as well. Of course, not just one example. In our ecosystem, right, we have a lot of different mutualism example here. Just give whichever and whatever is possible. Of course, have to be logic. Okay. So this is what is so-called growth rate of plant H and plant Y. Somehow this kind of question, a lot of students, they feel panic when they look at this kind of graph question. Okay, don't feel panic. Just read and you can get some hint from the question one. So you see the head of the plant in cm. Okay, so banana and maize, okay, they both grow, okay, from time to time. Banana, okay, you can see when maize is growing taller, but when the banana exceed the exceed the head of the maize, then the maize no longer grow already. The maize will remain in this size already. Okay, and your banana will keep on growing until maximum only remains same. So means what? Okay, banana wins the competition between maize. So what is the interaction between here? It is competition. They both stay, keyword is here, same plot. They both stay in the same plot. So it is a kind of competition. Okay, they compete for everything. Compete for nutrient, compete for water, air, space, light, everything. Okay, so eventually the banana grow exceeded maize, okay, and win the competition. Just mention the interaction that happens in here. So 3 marks, you have to give 3 points. Okay, you want to make it safe, right? You want to guarantee you have 3 points, right? Okay, you make it 1 point, 1 sentence long. Okay, 2, predict the growth rate of plant H. Okay, if they planted in different plot. Okay, so different places already. So there is no competition. So what happens to the head of the maize? Of course, without competition, it grow healthier. Okay, it grow taller compared to current status. Okay, it will become higher. Why? Because there is no plant G, there is no any competition happens in the plot already. Okay, so they have enough resources to grow. Okay, somehow the question has come up with something critical thinking in this way lah. All right, so the rest is not important. Okay, similar question, everything is just similar. A lot of different thing comes out is on your this chapter. Okay, as I said just now, we went through the function of fats, right? Okay, fats is transporting 4 major vitamins. Vitamins are dead. Okay, so vitamin A, D, E, K, it is fat soluble because it can be transported by fats. So the rest, vitamin B and C, is carried by water, soluble in water, dissolved in water, and carried to your whole body. So this is what I said. You have to basically know what is vitamin are they and know the vitamin content. So same thing lah. What is the function of these minerals? Okay, and what is the effect of deficiency from these minerals? Is what you have to do lah. Lack of calcium. Okay, lack of calcium, you are going to cause osteoporosis. Osteoporosis means you have a lot of hollow in your bone. Hollow means empty space lah. Okay, you have a lot of holes in your bone, in your bones. Okay, a lot of holes in the bones is what is so-called osteoporosis. Lack of iron means you are going to get anemia. Anemia means you are lacking red blood cell because iron can help you to make red blood cell. Iodine, it can cause you to have goiter. So know some of the examples from these minerals. For example, you get more iron, you take meat law. Okay, red meat. So same thing question 2. Okay, telling you again what is the importance of knowing the function of mineral, etc. Calcium, teeth and bones formation. Iron, form of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the main content in your red blood cell. Iodine, okay, prevent goiter and help you to grow properly. Potassium, okay, helping your nerve to function normally. So know the thing here. Okay, so question 3 also same thing. Okay, what is the classes of food and what is the end product here? Protein become amino acid, carbohydrate, glucose, fats become cholesterol and fatty acid. So what I mentioned just now here, okay, everything has been given here already lah. Okay, so your carbohydrates in the end become glucose, protein in the end become amino acid, fat in the end become fatty acid plus glycerol. So everything, okay, has been given here. So this is personal note lah. I just show you whether upon necessity. If you didn't jot down, you can just take a screenshot or whatever. Okay, go back here. Okay, food pyramid. Okay, balanced diet. Balanced diet means the daily calorie healthy food that requires to have a balanced body status. This is so-called balanced diet lah. Okay, so 2 factors that influence your calorific requirement: your work, your activity, your health status, your age, your gender. Okay, just state the factors. No need to explain. The question asks you to state only. Okay, so BMI, very easy to calculate lah. Just substitute everything in the formula so we don't go through this one. Okay, this one also no need because everything is based on the calculation. So we don't go through this thing already. Okay, we go to this one. Okay, 5B. Okay, this thing, okay, is to tell you what is the function of the saliva, okay, in digestion process. So what you need to know is one comes with saliva, one comes without saliva. And thermometer here shows the water temperature, water bath temperature is like 37 degrees Celsius. So the question asks you why, okay? So what is contained in the saliva to help you digest that thing, okay? That thing, okay, what is the action here? So salivary amylase. Okay, salivary amylase is contained in your saliva. It is helped to break down the starch into maltose. Okay, so two, why is the water bath maintained at temperature of 37 degrees Celsius? It is why. Okay, as I said, this is the ideal temperature, the best temperature for the enzyme to work efficiently. You want to make sure that your enzyme works, function normally. This temperature is a must. Okay, that's why our human body temperature is maintained at this degree. Okay, so if the saliva is boiled, okay, because 3 points marks, I didn't write down everything here. Okay, so give a reason for your answer. Okay, this thing, as we said, 37 degrees Celsius is a most ideal one. So if you boil it, right, okay, boil it means 100 degrees Celsius already, no? Okay, you boil it in this way and it is mixed with starch. Since you boil it, right, the saliva itself cannot carry out its own function already. Okay, so pretty what will happen? Okay, the starch will not be digested. Why? Because the saliva has been boiled and the enzyme cannot function anymore. Okay, that's it lah. So when the question asks you about operational definition, okay, for enzyme, okay, so enzyme is your subject. Not sure whether your school got come up with this kind of question or not. Ask you about operation definition. So in any way, I just tell you, just in case. Okay, we have a formula to answer operation definition. The formula is here, in which subject is a thing or maybe a process. Just choose whichever is suitable. Okay, that cause your observation after okay, you have to substitute the bracket. You have to substitute the bracket. Okay, so when the question asks you operational definition for enzyme, so enzyme, this thing is your subject. Okay, subject is a thing because enzyme is a thing. So enzyme is a thing that cause, what is it cause? So you look at the observation. Okay, it is going to cause the starch to be digested. Okay, that cause the starch to be digested after how many days? Oh, didn't talk about time. When the question didn't talk about time, then we say the process after digestion. Okay, so again, enzyme is a thing that cause the starch to be digested after digestion process. Okay, so substitute everything inside the formula. This formula can be applied to all of the operation definition question. Okay, so when the question asks you about this thing, just substitute it into the formula. Okay, we're not sure whether your teacher got come up with this kind of question before in your exam or not, but I'll just share you the answering technique. Okay, so here, okay, we just go through question C. Wait, okay, question C. Okay, the question asks you about the calculate the calorie. Okay, so you see, question is asking you to calculate the calorie, right, of consuming this kind of food. Okay, what you need to do is look at here. It is 100 gram. Okay, so either you can do a calculation for mathematics. Okay, like you make it become fraction, you calculate, or you make this thing into 1 gram, which you divide everything here with 100. After that, you get this figure and you multiply with this mass, and then only you add all of them together. Okay, so be careful on the figure. Somehow the question will give you 1 gram. Okay, then you don't do anything on it, just multiply. Okay, if the question give you 100 gram, depends on your own, whether you want to divide by 100 or just want to make it into a fraction, also can. Okay, so D, which kind of food she should buy, biscuit or nugget? I'm sorry, nuts or biscuit? Okay, which one of food is more suitable to bought by CP? Okay, explain. So of course lah, biscuit. Why? Because she's going to hike, right? Okay, she's going to hike. She need energy, and your biscuit itself contains a lot of carbohydrates, which provides energy. Okay, explain it this way. So nut itself contains what? Contains fats, contains protein. Okay, of course you have carbohydrates, but very less. Okay, that's why compared to nuts, biscuit is more relatable and more good lah, because got carbs, got energy. So you have to explain this way. So that's why it is another reason I ask you guys to get the example of each nutrition. So one day the question say, oh CT, I cannot see properly during night time. Okay, so I become blind. I become blinded during night time. Okay, I have poor night vision. So they ask you, oh, I think you should buy egg yolk. You should eat more egg yolk, and you should eat more meat. Okay, so of course not meat. Okay, egg yolk is the option because egg yolk you have vitamin A. Vitamin A can help you to solve the night vision issue. So that's why somehow this kind of question coming out, right? If you don't know the function of or you don't know the example or component of the nutritions from the food, it's very tough for you to answer this kind of question. Okay, so this question, question 6, also very hot in your exam. What is the job influences, okay, the daily energy requirement? He's just lying down reading the book. Meanwhile, he's doing heavy job. Okay, so you explain based on here lah, activity law or job lah. Okay, you explain. The more activity he done, the more daily energy he required. Okay, 2 other factors as we said. Okay, age or gender or what is so called? Age, gender, body size. Okay, a lot of different factors can be applied here lah. Okay, so this is what I said. You have to be very careful on the unit. This one is per gram. Okay, per gram. So you just simply multiply everything. Sample 1, sample 2, sample 3, sample 4. You multiply everything, you add them together, you got the answer. That's it. Okay, so based on the daily energy, okay, for example, because I didn't go through the calculation here. Okay, so I didn't see the answer as well. Just in case the answer here is 2000 for example, you get the answer here is 2000. The 2000 kilojoule. Okay, then the question asks you, estimate the daily energy requirement of a laborer and an old man. So laborer, old man, okay, you compare lah. Compared to who? This is a pregnant woman. Okay, so pregnant women, okay, you have to consider pregnant women, you have a baby inside the stomach. So uterus actually. So in this case, right, laborer, actually he's a guy, he's a man. He has more daily activity compared to pregnant women, even she has a baby in the uterus. So in this case, right, you have to estimate he required more than her. Okay, he required more than her. Okay, about the calories. So for the old man, right, since he's old, okay, age issue, so even he's male, but because of age issue, plus he has no vigorous activity compared to laborer, okay, so you can assume old man has below than 2000 lah, okay, compared to pregnant woman. This answer is based on here. Okay, so what you have to assume, okay, the answer should be laborer is higher than pregnant women, but old man has to be lower than pregnant women. Okay, then you briefly explain why. Because old man, he has less activity, okay, compared to pregnant women, and he's old already. Okay, he cannot consume too much of nutrition. So for a laborer, he do a lot of work, so he requires a lot of calorie compared to the pregnant women. So slightly explain in between lah. Okay, so this one, coming, he is having medical treatment. So I have to suggest which kind of menu he's going to taking. Okay, fried noodles, okay, cereal, low-fat milk, honeydew, scrambled egg, and etc. So as you can see menu P, even though the top three is normal, but fried noodle itself is not so healthy. Compared to menu Q, everything is just so healthy. Okay, so you suggest him to get menu Q because menu P you have fried noodles, which is not good for him to recover from his wound. Okay, slightly explain the points to it. So the important part is actually here. Yeah, question 9. No, not question 9. Okay, where is it? Question 8. Okay, question 8. So just now I said you have to know all the structures name lah. Okay, in fact, your exam would not be so good. Okay, so giving you all the options here to choose. Okay, so this is what you so called pancreas, and this is what you so called duodenum. Okay, you see he's pointing this part. This part is what you so called duodenum. Okay, if he's pointing about this is your stomach. If he's pointing about this is your small intestine. So in between, right, is your duodenum. Duodenum is the beginning of the small intestine. So, and this part, the leaf part, okay, like leaf structure part, it is what you so called pancreas lah. Okay, so a patient undergo a surgery to remove his pancreas. Okay, so pancreas is very important. Pancreas, we have three things inside lipase, okay, and we have what? We have pancreatic amylase, we have protease. So this thing is going to affect him to digest with three major nutrition, which is fats, protein, and carbohydrate. Okay, so he's facing these three main nutritions digestion problem. Okay, so know how to explain lah. So saliva, again, action of saliva on starch. So test tube M and test tube N. So you have a presence of starch. So you can see this one comes with starch solution only. This one just saliva. So yes, it's a starch is present. So you have saliva. Saliva will break down the starch. So you have no starch on N already. So yes for M. Okay, analyze. So give one inference. What is inference? Another same meaning for inference is reason. Based on the result, why? Why would you say yes here? Okay, so because what? You cannot like write because lah. Okay, you have to directly write the answer. Okay. You have to say starch will be digested by saliva in test tube N. Okay, in your test tube M, there's no starch. It is because starch has been digested by the saliva, which contains salivary amylase. Okay, so again, the question asks you again, why the temperature? So you see, this question is actually very hot one. Why temperature has to be this way? Because it is the best and most suitable temperature to allow the enzyme function. Okay, so in which part of the alimentary canal has a reaction which is the same occurred in test tube N? So in your alimentary canal means your whole digestive system lah. Okay, occurred in test tube N. Okay, test tube N. So which part of your body contains saliva? Mouth lah. So don't be like, oh, alimentary canal, panic already or don't okay, because just look at the test tube N. Which part of your body you have saliva? Mouth lor. Okay, so very easy this question, just go through. Then okay, last one, this is what I want to know, discuss in last question. Okay, question 10. Yep, question 10. This is what is so-called villi or villus. Okay, grammar doesn't matter. Okay, just know the name here, villi or villus. Okay, so name the structure, not die. Name the structure. Okay, the structure here is what we so-called villi lah. Okay, it allows diffusion of digestive food to occur efficiently. So this is how it's called villi. Okay, so or else you want to be more precise lah. Okay, this thing is actually the thing, the wall that allows the food to enter the vilus. Okay, so you can say wall of villi also can more suitable. Explain the feature. Sorry. Explain the feature to carry the function. Why the wall of villi has certain characteristics to allow those nutrition to enter. So we said the wall here is actually very thin. Okay, the feature here is what? It is just one cell thick. Okay, it is just one cell thick. This is how you answer the question. So know the points here lah. Okay, so how does the structure A1, okay, how does this thing, okay, improve its efficiency to absorb digested food? Okay, so we have 2 points here. So one, you can say large surface area. You have a lot billion of vilus, okay, in your small intestine to make sure you absorb every single nutrition that you have digested. Okay, so second point is what? The large surface area. Beside that, okay, rich in blood capillary. So you can see in here, it is rich in blood capillary. So to make sure all the nutrition is transported, okay, to your body, other parts lah, okay, other parts of your body through the blood vessel or the blood capillary. Okay, those blood capillary will transport the nutrition to your whole body lah. Okay. So, okay, B. This is what we so-called the experiment comes with whisking tube. Okay, the whisking tube wall has been present in this way. Okay, so but in the whisking tube wall, it is campur already. Everything has been mixed already. You mix starch and you mix glucose together. Okay, so this is what we so-called the similar function as your villus wall. So your villus wall is one cell thick, but it is only allowing very tiny object to pass through. So you can see, okay, complete the diagram above, then you describe the drawing, okay? So only the small particle can pass through, okay? And the big particle, such as starch, will remain in the whisking tube, okay? So describe the drawing, then you say lah, okay, the bigger part of the particle, okay? The bigger part of the, not bigger part, sorry. The bigger particle, such as starch, okay, will still remain in the whisking tube wall, okay, as you can see, remain in the whisking tube wall. As you mentioned, bigger size of particle. While the smaller size of particles, such as glucose, can pass through the whisking tube wall, okay, and stay out of the whisking tube wall. Okay, that's it. So this is how you're going to describe. You just describe, no need to explain. So how you can prove the position of the molecule after 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes, right, diffusion completely happens. Okay, you are going to test this thing, not test this one. After 30 minutes, you're going to test this one. So that's why it is related to your food test. Okay, so you have two methods to answer this question. Either you want to talk about the iodine test, either you want to talk about the Benedict test. Because Benedict test is used to test glucose. Iodine test, it is used to test starch. So you want to prove the position, right? Okay, you want to prove this thing, okay, is so legit outside the whisking tube, right? Okay, you use Benedict test. Benedict test returns to brick red precipitate. Okay, red precipitate has formed, okay, because of Benedict test show that in fact, outside the whisking tube wall, you have glucose. Okay, so you have already proven that all the molecules have already passed through, okay, the whisking tube wall. Or you can use iodine test to test here as well. Iodine test here means, okay, iodine test still remain brown color. Yeah. okay, remain in brown color. Why? Because iodine test is used to test starch, so no starch, so there is no color change. Because you drop it here, there's no starch here. So to prove that actually all the starch are still remain inside the whisking tube wall, cannot penetrate through it. Okay, so either way, you can answer in either way. Okay, to prove, you have to prove that one thing is staying in one side. Okay, then fair enough already. All right. So these are the important questions that you might face in your exam lah. Okay. So the rest question you have to answer. You can like based on the reference and you make the exercise by own. But in fact, actually, I wish you guys to go through all the objective, okay, by your own. You do all the objective first because just circle very fast one. Then you compare to the answer. Okay, see whether you understand about this chapter or not. Then based on the wrong question, right? Okay, you go back and you revise again. Only then you go to question B, section B and section C. Okay, so our seminar stopped here. Okay, anyway, thanks for attending the class. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.